We're outside Great Hammam, which is literally right across the street from that beautiful mosque. It's literally right behind me. Here we have a clue that we're here near one, because there we can see one of what must be several domes. I'll walk around and see if I can get a better view. Poke the camera and then let it wander around. It's under reconstruction right now, but you can notice there's cavities and there's something circular over there, which probably was where you walk down into a bath. And it may be that those cavities there held the hot water. I don't know. I'm just guessing, and a lot of it I can't even see from this vantage point. And then as I walked away, an older man pointed me to a doorway, and I'm now in a giant open doorway where anybody can look down inside, and we are. Okay, so from here, all the domes are gone, but we know there's one, so they must be back in there. But probably the big ones was probably one medium-sized one there, one really large one here. Just taking a flying guess. We can look at this, see that there's a smaller wall there, a large separating wall here with probably an entryway right there between the two rooms. How much that circular is new construction, I don't know. But this will be good to restore. Okay, here we have the restoration of the Great Hammam by the Swedes. And it is, of course, that time of day in Muslim land. I'm at the back and I can see at least 5 what look like restored domes. So I don't know if I can find a way to safely get down that front cavity. I'm going to try it. Yeah, that looks like an excavated wall, and if that's the case, this has to be older than that wall. And so this must be new, probably at one time covered by tiles and then cannibalized. Again, notice how here excavation takes this even deeper. There's some pipes, probably modern, who knows. Here I'm underneath one of the domes, but you can see that those cavities run underneath a floor, very much like the Romans would have done. If in fact this isn't Roman, and it shouldn't be, it should be a Muslim. Alright, now we're underneath one of the original domes. Here, just a hint of some of the mosaics that were once on the wall. Vertical lines, looking somewhat like the tombstones we see in Muslim cemeteries. Notice the different heads, if you will. And here a niche where people would probably sit. And this bit of construction infrastructure gives us an idea of how today, as well as maybe in the past, they both built and restored those archways. Here would have been an entryway also, if not the main one. A couple of niches, one on either side. No dome in this room that I'm standing in, but then it would have opened up, or did open up, that way, and then into these rooms here, which is where those domes should be aligned, or at least some of them were. Again, notice how the floor is underlain. Here we see it better where it's being restored, with those cavities for pumping probably steam, hot air, that kind of thing floated through here. Here another dome, slightly smaller I think than the one adjacent to it. Those domes of course providing ventilation out. But this would have been a large couple of rooms, whether they were surrounded by benches, I assume all around through there. Where these niches are, people would sit, and maybe there hot water would pour out, maybe even cold water. Same here. Kind of fun being in here, isn't it? Notice that there are square holes, and then there are arched holes. What was the difference? Why the difference? Difference in purpose? I don't know. A little diagonal door cutting into a corner room, which we'll go into. And it had steps leading down, perhaps into a pool of hot water, like a jacuzzi, but without the jacuzzi part. Another dome here. So there are many domes up here that we're not even seeing. Another corner room with a diagonal door going in, and I'm sure a dome above us, yes. You can see some of the towel. This is a place you don't want to be at night. There's a drugger's needle. But this would have been tiled all the way down, and that would have been a shallow bath, heated by whatever flowed through there. And more water flowed through here. And a bigger dome. And another adjacent to it. And another there. Went to another set of rooms. Pipes. Now whether these were original pipes or not, I don't know. That looks like a copper fitting, so who knows? Maybe this was all retrofitted. But here's another big set of rooms. These may have been a dual or a double hammam for both men and women. Women had their side, men had their side. And we may just be looking at one of the other sides. But you see the layout's almost identical. We're sitting inside of an area with 3 domed domes over the ceilings, but divided into 3 sections, with a corner room there and a diagonal door, another room back in there, another corner room. They would have been for dressing or maybe cold water, who knows. And here another room with some side rooms off of them. We're now working our way back to what I think may be a central courtyard. Not a central courtyard, but passageway here. If you're confused, don't be alarmed. And there you can see where water was run, or at least electricity was run at one time, perhaps. So this may have, of course, been modified over the centuries. Another vial of poison. I hopefully can exit myself the same way I got in here. Okay, this old mosque that we've been looking at is the Carshi Mosque, and it was 15th century mosque. Pristina's oldest building, built by the Turk Sultan Bajazet to honor a 1389 victory. That's the one that the Kosovoians, the Albanians, and the Serbians are constantly at war about over the decades. It's a word I've seen everywhere in the Balkans, and only recently figured out what it was. All around me are the signs of the offices of the lawyers who practice, no doubt, in the municipal court that was right next door to where I took that last video. I'm going to wander the back streets around these mosques and this hammam that I was in an attempt to find the old marketplace, and that apparently is evidence of the old town's narrow streets, etc. Here's a long view of the hammam, and hopefully if it did have originally large domes, they'll restore them. This is interesting because it's a stubby little mosque minaret, relatively short and fat, as you can see. Presumably this doorway is its access. And that may have been a piece of stonework from the earlier mosque. This is Kosovo's version of Perrier, sparkling natural mineral water with soda, or with gas. With gas, as we say. There in the distance, probably a new mosque. Those domes look new. I'm assuming it's not a hammam. I think the 3 domes on the right are the colonnade in front. And then they're building a new minaret. First time we've seen that. So he's a minaret builder. Another view of that mosque that's being built. Grapefruit and all laid out beautiful. It just keeps going on, apparently up this road here too somewhere. Just to orientate, there's the another minaret. That's where the pretty one was, because right behind it, if you look down the corner there, you can see the clock tower. So half a day wandering around in markets like this just because it's so interesting. again, you can see where I'm at, so now I want to wander down this street, which looks like there's a heavy traffic down there, and I'll recognize where I'm going. But this looks like a pretty street with cafes. There's the old mosque that we looked at, the Carshi Mosque, but swing the camera around if you permit it. Right over here, there's another mosque. So I want to wander back inside and see where that is. This is just another mosque right next to the circular fountain where the bus turns to go back down to Newborn.